How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. There's a golden cross forming for Bitcoin right now, actually Bitcoin dominance. I want to talk about what that means. We also have the market looking pretty interesting right now. There are a lot of people that are pointing to the fact that they're hearing of a strategic Bitcoin reserve happening later today. Let's talk about that. And I also want to talk about something that is a big problem in this industry, especially if you're successful. So stay through to the end of the video. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one. Also, if you want to trade crypto, there's a link underneath the video to WEEX. You can get signed up in just a few minutes. They don't KYC, and you don't need a VPN, and they have some sweet sign-up bonuses when you use that link. There's also a link to BTCC underneath the video. You get a 10% deposit bonus on your first time deposit and lower trading fees when you use that link. Also a link to Blofin and CoinW if you want to try those out as well. Now, before we get started, I just saw this. Ledger co-founder Eric, I don't know how to say that last name, Eric, reportedly kidnapped with a Bitcoin ransom demanded, according to French media. I've actually talked to two people in real life that have been abducted / assaulted for their crypto as well recently. This is a big problem, and this is actually why I talked about recently in the Patreon. I did an exclusive video why some people should buy a Bitcoin ETF instead of spot Bitcoin. It's an exclusive video I've talked about a bit on the channel here, but I wanted to give my longer thoughts on it. And there are many reasons why someone might want to buy spot. There are many reasons why someone might want an ETF. If you want to check that out, there is a link to the Patreon underneath the video. You'll get access to that video amongst other videos as well. But I do think a decent number of people should just go the ETF route. I know it's heresy, but if you want to see that video, there's a link underneath this video to the Patreon. Now, Bitcoin is looking really interesting. We're still seeing some volatility, not quite as much as yesterday and the day before, but we're sitting at 104.5 at the time of this recording. Some alts are starting to move. Like we just saw a movement on XRP that was pretty interesting, like in the last few minutes. Literally, what is that, a 10-cent move? And then right back down. Like that's kind of crazy. So there's some volatility going on right now. A lot of people are around Twitter are saying and hearing that there's a strategic reserve coming later today. We'll be on the lookout for that. We'll be one of the first channels that announces it. But yeah, I want to show you this. A Bitcoin golden cross. A Bitcoin golden cross happens, or any golden cross happens when the shorter term time frame moves over the longer term time frame, indicating a bullish momentum. So a golden cross, a 50-day moving average, moving above the 200-day moving average. That's forming right now on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is just the size of, or the market cap of Bitcoin divided by the total market cap of crypto. So it shows you how much Bitcoin's being valued versus the rest of the market. And it tells you a lot about the market. So we're seeing a golden cross form. This would be bullish for Bitcoin dominance, meaning it could indicate that we're going to move up even further. We're not there yet, but it looks like we're closing in. Now, the last time this happened, we saw a massive move on Bitcoin dominance. The last golden cross was back in January of 2023, and we went from 41% dominance to a peak of 61% dominance. Now, this hasn't always occurred, right? A golden cross isn't always indicative of a pump in dominance, but you can see the time before this, right? The last time that this happened before January, we did move from Bitcoin dominance of 42% all the way up to 48% in a pretty short time period. The golden cross that happened before that, we just barely touched, and then we came back down. So I wouldn't even really count that. It wasn't a sizable amount or a sizable cross. And back in November of 2020, we saw a golden cross, and we went from Bitcoin dominance of 65%, 66%, somewhere in there, all the way up to 74%. So like typically the golden cross does indicate that Bitcoin dominance is going to go up, which I could definitely see a case for. There will be some cryptos outperform, like we've seen with Solana and XRP and a handful of others, but generally, Bitcoin dominance goes up, it's best to just invest in Bitcoin. Now, I could see this happening for a couple different reasons. If we do get a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we could definitely see a sizable amount of money going into Bitcoin specifically, trying to front run the U.S. government or other nation states. And we could also see large inflows into the ETFs. We're already seeing that with BlackRock buying over 6,000 Bitcoin yesterday. There's just not much Bitcoin on exchanges. So this could definitely send up the price of Bitcoin, maybe exponentially, while the other cryptos probably go up, but don't go up quite as quickly for the most part. So we could have dominance go up if we see a strategic reserve. We could also see Bitcoin dominance go up if there's a lack of a reserve, right? If the market deflates a bit and Bitcoin falls down, I would assume that altcoins would fall down even quicker, right? There's some excitement in the market, but if that kind of gets sucked away, maybe we see a little bit of deflation in altcoin prices as well. Maybe that happens even faster because Bitcoin dominance does not necessarily show the price of Bitcoin. It shows the price of Bitcoin in relation to all the other cryptos. So if everything else falls down faster than Bitcoin, then Bitcoin dominance still moves up. On the other side of the coin, though, we are seeing a Trump administration that is actively buying altcoins through their DeFi project. They have $183 million worth of Ethereum, $55 million worth of USDC, $48 million worth of wrapped Bitcoin, $33 million of STETH, and then some TRX tokens, Aave tokens, Link tokens, and then a couple smaller projects as well. But you can see that they're very bullish on Ethereum, or at least they're putting a decent amount into Ethereum along with these other altcoins as well. So who knows what happens, right? There has been some rumors too about some possibility of an altcoin reserve as well. It wouldn't surprise me if eventually that happened, but I think the majority of the money will be focused on Bitcoin, if not all of it, at least at first. So it'll be really fascinating to watch. I would not be surprised too if the governments are using Bitcoin or using altcoins behind the scenes to test out like XRP, Ethereum, Solana, testing out some of these other blockchains. But the reserve will probably be mostly, if not all, Bitcoin, in my opinion. That's what they promised. So we'll have to watch this. But I wanted to give you an update on the Golden Cross. If you're heavy into Bitcoin, this could be really good for you. I'm over 80% in Bitcoin just because I feel like it's much safer than other altcoins, but I am also invested in some altcoins and I have long positions open as well where I'm trading, on Blofin, BTCC, on WEEX, CoinW, on some of these exchanges. So if you want to check those out, there are links underneath the video. I think that can be a good use of like the high risk part of your portfolio. It doesn't require much more time than you already spend looking at crypto anyways, and you can get outsized returns. It's pretty interesting, but crypto usually follows TA pretty closely. You see a lot of patterns like this where you see rejection, move above, come back down, test, and then flip resistance into support, which is something that we've been trading on in the Patreon a little bit. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Again, if you want access to the Patreon, if you want access to some of these private videos, some of these exclusive videos, check it out underneath the video. There are a limited number of spots, and also you can ask questions in there. We just posted so that you can ask questions for an upcoming AMA. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one.